Good morning. Good morning, DC. Good morning. I can't hear you. Good morning. Good morning, DMV. Good morning. And good morning, Casa. Good morning. Buenos días a casa.
Buenos días a casa.
Look, it might be a cloudy day today, but I'll tell you something. It is a beautiful day to fight for immigrants' rights. It is a beautiful day to fight for immigrants' rights. My name is Ama Frimpong. I am the legal director at CASA. I am a proud immigrant from Ghana, born and raised. And I'll say again, it is a beautiful day to fight for immigrants' rights. It is a beautiful day to fight for justice. It is a beautiful day to fight for freedom. And it is a beautiful day to fight to hold the government accountable.
That's right.
Because just a few minutes from here, inside the DC District Court, that is exactly what is happening right now. We are in court today because a federal judge already ordered ICE to stop making warrantless arrests in Washington, D.C. without probable cause.
That's right.
That order was clear. It was binding. It was not a suggestion. It was an order.
Yes.
Fue una orden de una jueza que dice que ICE no puede arrestar a la gente sin órdenes judiciales y sin causa probable. Y todavía lo están haciendo.
Shame. Shame.
ICE has continued these unlawful arrests anyway. And we are back in court today to make one thing clear. ICE is not above the law. We are here to demand accountability. So once the hearing ends, some of our partners litigating inside the courtroom will join us to share updates on what happened inside the courtroom. Until then, we are here to stand together, to hold space for our community, and to remind this city that we will not allow our neighbors to be targeted in silence.
Not one more.
Not one more. Because what is happening in this city is not abstract. It is not theoretical. It is happening right now in our streets, our neighborhoods, in our communities. For over a year now, this administration's mass deportation agenda has targeted immigrant communities with fear and intimidation. Families have been torn apart. Workers arrested on their way to jobs to take care of their families. Parents have been stopped on their way to drop off their children at school. People have been arrested on their way to life-saving medical appointments.
Shame.
And here in DC, ICE officers often wearing masks and in plain clothes because they need to hide their faces as they break the law.
Shame.
They have flooded our neighborhoods, stopping people that they perceive to be Latino. They engage in racial profiling, and they stop people and they arrest people without probable cause based on their skin color. Let's be very clear about what that is. It is racial profiling, it is an abuse of power, and let me tell you something else. It is illegal. ICE is breaking the law in this city every day, and we will not let it continue.
That's right. That's right.
This is why CASA, our partners, ACLU, AMICA, Washington Lawyers Committee, National Immigration Project, on behalf of our bold community members, went to court. And in December, a federal judge ruled that ICE's actions were a systemic failure that directly violated the law and ordered them to stop making these warrantless arrests without probable cause that is a flight risk. That should have been the end of it. That should have been the end of ICE's unlawful actions. But they have continued these arrests anyway. And that is why we are back here today. Because we will not let those actions continue. You see, protections on paper mean nothing if they are not enforced. A court order means nothing if it is violated and it is not enforced. And because our families deserve more than a piece of paper, they deserve more than promises. They deserve full protection from ICE's actions. And I want to be very clear, the consequences of ICE's unlawful actions are real. They are devastating and they are deadly. And one of those consequences is CASA member Elias. Elias was a CASA member, a member of our community. He was a human being with a full life ahead of him, a family, people who loved him, a mother who loved him. And we will soon hear from his mother, who will share his story with us. That is the human cost of ICE believing it can ignore the law. Is that people die. We lose our community members. Lives are lost. This is what happens when an agency thinks it is above the Constitution, it is above the courts, and that it can act without accountability. But we are here to say something very, very clear. ICE does not get to ignore a federal judge. Right? Am I right? ICE does not get to terrorize our communities. Right?
Right.
And ICE does not get to tear families apart without consequences, right?
Right.
So we will continue to fight in the streets. We will fight inside the courtroom. We will fight in our communities. Because when our families are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When we are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
And we will continue fighting until ICE is held accountable,
Yeah.
until our communities are safe, and until justice is real for every family in the DMV.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we
Can
can.
I hear you? Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. All right. Now, before we continue, I would like to invite Bishop Allison Abrams, Senior Pastor of Empowerment Liberation Cathedral, here in D.C. to open us up in prayer.
Amen.
¡Ya queremos!
Amen.
Eyes out.
¡Ya queremos! ¡Eyes out! ¡Ya queremos! ¡Eyes out!
Good morning to everyone, and buenos dias. Let us lift up prayer in the midst of everything that is happening while we have those in the courtroom as well as those who are out here. Gracious, kind God, we just thank you for being a God of grace, a God of mercy, a God of love, and a God of justice. God, we ask that you would just touch the leaders who are leading those with CASA. We ask that you would touch the families who have been separated. God, we ask that you would bring healing to them. We ask that you would heal the heart of this mother who's going to talk about her son and the loss of her son and even the injustice that has occurred in their family. God, I ask that we might stand up and be the country that our forefathers created us to be. God, help us to be a family, a country of justice. Help us to be a country of community. Help us to be a country of consciousness. Help us to be a country that stands up and believes in equality for all. Help us, oh God, to be a country that looks out for those who are the least of these as well as those who are prominent in this country. God, I ask that you would help this organization and those other organizations that are connected with CASA to have the foresight, to have the strength and the power to to continue to fight for the rights of these people. Help us to understand, and this country to understand, and this administration to understand that they are not above the law. They are not above those things that have been put in place by the Constitution. They are not above that judgment that was rendered down from the judge to say that ICE could not continue to do lawless immigration tactics. God, I ask that you would just help us as we try to bring this country back around to what it was intended to be. God, we are a country that is made up of immigrants.
Yes,
the immigrants have worked and made this country what it is today.
Yes,
help us not to disrespect what we have become, but help us to love and respect and honor what we have become. And that is a melting pot of people. God, I ask that every person might be respected, every race might be respected, and those who have come, who have contributed, that their contributions might be respected by this country. God, thank you for an opportunity to come and protest. Thank you for an opportunity to come and let our voices be heard. Thank you for an opportunity to let the people know we will not rest until change comes. Let the people know that we will not back down. We are going to continue to stand up and fight and speak up for those who we care for and those who have a right to be in this country. And God, I ask that you would allow your power to prevail today in the courtroom and from this day forth. God, thank you for those who have stood up. Thank you for those who are standing up right now. And thank you for those who will come forth later. God, we ask that you would bless in a mighty, marvelous way these your dear people. God, I ask that you would keep us in all that we do. Bless this rally today. Again, bless CASA and all its leadership and all of those fighting for policy and fighting for the rights of people everywhere. And God, I ask that we might continue to remember that we are stronger together. We are stronger together. We have nothing to lose but our chains. God, bless us and keep us. This is my prayer. I lift to you in God's Jesus' holy name. Amen and thank God.
Thank you.
I do want to say, nosotros somos más fuertes juntos.
El pueblo unido
Jamás será vencido.
El pueblo unido
Jamás será vencido.
The people united
Will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. That's right, Bishop. Thank you so much. Indeed, we are stronger together. We are stronger united. And together, united, we will win and excel, be victorious in whatever challenges come our way. And as you said, we will not rest until change comes. Thank you, Bishop.
Glory to God.
I would also like to please welcome, help me welcome, CASA Community Organizer, Rosie Ben, who will share a few words with us.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Roosevelt, and I am a community organizer with CASA. I immigrated from El Salvador, and I have probably called Washington, D.C. my home for the past 20 years.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Rosibel, soy organizadora comunitaria con CASA. Inmigré de El Salvador y he llamado a Washington, D.C. mi hogar por los últimos 20 años.
This city has given me so much hope, opportunity, and a sense of belonging. But today, I stand before you, weighed down by the terror this administration, through its militarized occupation, has brought on our DC families.
Esta ciudad me ha dado tantas oportunidades, pero el día de hoy tengo un corazón que me arde, porque esta administración ha traído la intervención militar que ha comenzado a destruir nuestros hogares.
I've seen my neighbors being kidnapped daily, working with families who have been torn apart never to be the same.
He trabajado con familias que han sido raptados por agentes de migración, separados de sus familias y nunca han podido ser igual.
Family separation cases that not only break our hearts, but haunt us as a community organizer.
Historias de familias que son no solamente nos rompen el corazón, sino nos tienen aterrorizados como organizadores comunitarios.
Can you believe it? Fighting to keep food on the table every day, fighting for the health, children's fathers, mothers, tias, and tips,
No,
and grandparents and neighbors.
piénsalo. Ancianos, padres, madres, hijos, tíos, tías, luchando día a día para poner comida en su mesa y ahora luchando para simplemente poder sobrevivir.
Even our own family members fighting daily in our street not to be kidnapped by ICE.
Hasta nuestros mismos familiares, como organizadores, luchando para no ser raptados también por ICE.
This is our reality here in DC and throughout the very country we call our home for decades.
Esto es nuestra realidad, no solamente aquí en DC, pero en todo el país que hemos llamado hogar por décadas.
Daughters asking, when will I see my dad again? Survivors who bear to physical, emotional scars from enforcement brutality, living in constant fear of being kidnapped again.
Hijas preguntando cuándo van a ver sus padres de nuevo. Sobrevivientes de ICE pensando cuándo van a ser raptados y secuestrados una vez más.
As I stand here today, I carry the pain in my own heart. My nephew who was detained by ICE right here in DC, later deported, leaving behind a 3-year-old child.
Y yo también tengo este dolor en mi corazón. Mi sobrino fue detenido por ICE aquí mismito en DC. Fue deportado y dejó a su hija de 3 años.
Just as I fight for my community with silence in this darkness of the movements, my own family now lives the scar of being separated in such brutal way.
Mientras yo lucho como organizadora para proteger a mi comunidad, mi propia familia ha sido separada y terrorizada en las manos de migración.
But I refuse to give up. I will continue to fight because it's our only hope. Our fight is our voice and we will not be silenced.
No me voy a rendir, voy a seguir a luchar, porque nuestra voz es nuestra lucha y nunca voy a parar.
The stories of our pain, our dignity, our resilience will be heard.
Las historias de nuestra dignidad, nuestro sufrimiento, pero también de nuestra resistencia va a ser escuchada.
We will not let this administration silence our voices or hide our struggles. We stand together because we are strongly united for our family, for our community, and for our future.
No vamos a dejar que esta administración nos amenace para que nos quedamos callados. Vamos a seguir luchando fuertemente por nuestra dignidad, nuestras familias y nuestra comunidad.
ICE must follow judges' orders right here, right now.
Yeah.
That's right. ICE debe seguir las órdenes del juez aquí, ahora y siempre. Gracias.
ICE out. ¿Qué queremos? Familias unidas. ¿Qué queremos? Familias unidas. ¿Cuándo? Ahora. ¿Cuándo? Ahora. ¿Cuándo? Ahora.
Muchas gracias, Rosibel, por compartir tu historia con nosotros, por recordarnos que esta lucha no es una lucha política. No, this is not a political fight. This isn't about politics. This is a fight for our lives. This is a fight for our families. This is a fight for those 3-year-olds.
Yeah. Got this.
Yes, we can. 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 Yes, we can.
This is a fight for those 3-year-olds who will never see their parents again. Excuse me. Okay. Thank you. I would like to call up to share a few words our one of our valued partners, Madon Love, Executive Director of Spaces in Action here in DC. Madon.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
Love, the Executive Director of Spaces in Action. We do work here in DC with Black, brown, and immigrant families. Feel called to that. So, Spaces in Action stands with CASA and many other organizations who are leading the charge for immigrant rights and for due process. What we're seeing over and over again is the violation of the 14th Amendment of due process. People are being taken from their homes, taken off the streets, separated from their families, without an opportunity to defend themselves. We talk about people who are citizens, and the due process is for anyone who lives in America, anyone who is in America. We cannot pick and choose who gets the right to have due process. I was reflecting this morning. I spent the weekend in Selma, Alabama, with the Jubilee, and I've been reflecting upon one of my mentors, Dave Dennis, who was one of the original people who was part of the Freedom Rides that went out of Alabama. And one of the things that he said to me is, in the 60s, when they were fighting for civil rights, you had the local governments who were against the people, and the federal government stepped in. The National Guard stepped in to take care of people. Whereas right now it's even more violent because you have an administration that is using the National Guard to further oppress people. The only way we can win is united. The only way we can move forward is united.
That's right.
So regardless of if you're born in America, living in America, got here in America, if you're doing work in America, you have a right to be here. And you have a right to due process. And the only way we hold them accountable is if we, the people, stand united. So I want to add this. I'm going to say ice out, and I want you to say votes in, because we have to vote these people out, and we have to hold them accountable. Yes, Jess?
Yes, you do.
Would you say CC?
CC.
Ice out.
Ice.
Ice out.
Votes in.
Ice out.
Votes in.
Thank you.
Se ve, se siente, el pueblo está presente. Se ve, se siente, el pueblo está presente. El pueblo está presente. El pueblo está presente. Se siente. El pueblo está presente.
Ladon, thank you so much for that reminder about the importance of this fight. This is not just about immigrants, right? This is about everyone. This is about our entire community, our entire society. Because let's be clear, when one of our rights are trampled upon, that exposes the rights of all of us to be trampled upon. We all have rights, and we cannot allow the government, we cannot sit back and allow the government to trample on the rights of one group of people, because guess what? You're next. This is about all of us, and we must stand united to fight against authoritarianism and the tyranny that we're currently experiencing. It is y'all know I'm already an emotional mess. I don't know how I'm gonna get through this one. It is an honor to invite Emilia, the mother of Elias, whose life was taken after ISIS unlawful arrest denied him the medical care that he needed. Emilia.
El pueblo unido
Jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
el pueblo
Unido jamás será vencido.
the people united
Will never be defeated. People united will never be defeated.
the people united
Will never be defeated.
Buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Emily y estoy aquí hoy como madre enojada y devastada por la pérdida de mi hijo Elías. Quiero hablarles sobre Elías, el hijo que crié con todo mi amor.
Good morning. My name is Amelia, and I am the mother of Elias. I am here in front of you, frustrated, devastated for the loss of my son, Elias. I want to talk to you about Elias this morning.
El hijo que crié con todo mi amor y esperanza.
He was the son that I raised with all of my love and all of my hopes.
Quiero que entiendan lo que hizo ICE, lo que robaron a mi familia.
I want you to understand what ICE did, what ICE robbed from my family.
Agentes de ICE detuvieron a Elías a solo una milla de su cita de diálisis que le salvaba la vida.
ICE detained Elias 1 mile from the hospital where he was supposed to have dialysis to save his life.
Quiero decirles de que él tenía 11 meses de hacerle una cirugía de corazón abierto.
Elias had completed 11 months from having open heart surgery.
Y le habían puesto un marcapaso en su corazón para que trabajara bien.
They had just given him medical appliances, placed them in his heart to ensure his heart would continue working.
Él le hacían diálisis a una milla del hospital de Washington, D.C. ICE lo detuvo sin piedad.
He was scheduled to do dialysis that morning, and without any dignity, ICE detained him.
Su salud y su vida lo arrojaron al suelo y lo dejaron traumatizado.
ICE threw him on the ground, leaving him traumatized from that experience.
Aterrorizado y completamente destrozado.
They left him terrorized and completely devastated.
Con la ayuda de casa pudimos lograr que Elías fuera puesto en libertad.
Thanks to CASA, we were able to liberate Elias that very evening.
Esa misma noche después de su detención en la mañana, pero ese día cambió todo para Elías.
But that day, that detention changed everything for Elias forever.
Fue solo un día, pero fue suficiente para destruirlo.
It was only 1 day in detention, but it was enough to destroy him.
Desde ese momento su salud empezó a deteriorarse, las condiciones terribles en su detención.
Since that day in detention, his medical health started to deteriorate because of the conditions while he was detained.
La intimidación y el miedo no solo lo asustaron, sino que lo hicieron temer hasta su último suspiro.
The panic and the terrorizing that ICE did to him left him anguished and left him terrorized until he took his last breath.
Su trauma creció y creció y el miedo lo consumía, los ataques de pánico, las pesadillas constantes que lo atormentaban día y noche.
Night and day, Elias suffered panic attacks. Night and day, Elias suffered night terrors that consumed him, and each and every night he suffered this.
Falleció unos meses después de ese día horrible en que ahí lo detuvo, su cuerpo y su salud simplemente no pudieron aguantar más.
He died a couple of months after he had been detained. His spirit, his mental health, and his health just could not take anymore.
ICE le quitó la dignidad, la salud y despreciaron su humanidad, y eso en última instancia le costó la vida a Elías.
ICE took away his dignity, his health, and his humility. At the end of the day, this detention cost Elias his life.
Una detención, un día, un encuentro cruel, y ahora él ya no está.
One detention, one incident of brutalization, and now my son is no longer with us.
A quienes escuchen mi historia, por favor, amen a sus hijos con toda gotita de amor.
To anyone who can hear my story, I have a message for you. Love your children every day with every ounce of energy that you have to give.
Ruegue por misericordia, porque las acciones de ICE no solo arruinan familia, también destruyen vidas, y esto termina en muerte.
Pray for all of us, because ICE actions don't only separate families, they leave them devastated, including causing death to our loved ones.
Mi hijo no merecía esto, nadie lo merece, y hoy comparto mi historia con la esperanza de que se pueda hacer la diferencia.
My son did not deserve this, we did not deserve this, and today I share my story in hope that justice is served.
Y que ninguna madre ni familia tenga que experimentar este dolor de perder un hijo.
I wish it on no mother, the hurt and suffering of losing their son.
Por el odio o financiado por el gobierno.
Losing a son financed by the hate of this administration.
Muchísimas gracias por escuchar mi historia. Que Dios les bendiga.
Thank you so much. May God bless you.
No estás sola.
Muchísimas gracias, Emilia. Muchas gracias, Emilia, por contarnos un poco de lo que sufrió Elías. And before I speak any further, I would really love and appreciate, we can all take our flowers, which I think every one of us may have received, just to recognize and in honor of this life that was lost. Let's just hold our flowers up in the air for a brief moment in remembrance of Elias.
Elías, estamos contigo, ahora, aquí y siempre.
Elías, estamos contigo,
ahora, aquí y siempre. Elías, estamos contigo, ahora, aquí y siempre. Elías, we are with you right here, right now, and always. Elías, we are with you right here, right now, and always.
Thank you all. What happened to Elias was avoidable. Let's remember that. What happened to Elias was avoidable. This was an illegal arrest. This was not just an arrest that led to a death. It was an illegal, unconstitutional violation that led to his death. ICE did not have a warrant for his arrest. ICE did not have probable cause to arrest him. Elias' case was a very clear example of someone who is not a flight risk. The law says ICE must have probable cause that a person is likely to escape before they can get a warrant for the person's arrest. Elias was a mile away from a dialysis treatment. He wasn't fleeing anywhere. He would not have fled anywhere. He was going to receive life-saving treatment. ICE did not conduct an individualized assessment to find out whether he was a flight risk, to determine whether they have probable cause. No, what they saw was a Latino man. That's what they saw. A Latino man. And that gave them the justification in their minds to arrest him, deprive him of medical care, leading to his death. We cannot let that happen ever again. Not in this city, not in our beautiful capital city, and not anywhere else. We cannot let it happen again. And this is why we brought this lawsuit on behalf of our members, like Elias, because this is one of many, many stories that were reported to us of our members who live in the city, work in the city, travel through the city, who are being illegally arrested and are still being illegally arrested by ICE despite a court order. And we will put that to an end. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
We will not have another Elias, and we will make sure that his death does not go in vain. We will continue fighting in his honor to make sure it never happens again. With that, I would like to call on Free DC. I know Free DC is in the house with us today. Please help me welcome Jordan Kegelmeyer, Free DC's local government co-chair, to share a few words with us.
Dilo fuerte, dilo claro, inmigrantes bienvenidos. Dilo claro, inmigrantes bienvenidos.
Thank you, and thank you, Amanda. Thank you for sharing your story and Elias's story. We must never forget the true human rights of a woman. My name is Jordan Kegelmeyer. I'm the organizer of Free DC, the main campaign for DC Home Rule and DC Statehood. And I am myself a proud descendant of immigrants from Europe and Japan. I was with every organization and working so hard to bring this case forward and hold these fascists accountable. As any DC resident knows, we are not a state, and that makes us uniquely vulnerable in this moment. The Home Rule Act affords us a meaningful but constrained form of representation in our local government. And even that fragment of democracy is under attack. Donald Trump replaced our chief prosecutor, Janine Pirro, a Fox News host. Republicans in Congress are stealing money from our families and meddling in our laws, and of course, federal troops, including ICE, now occupy our streets. Since Trump's inauguration, and especially since the federal occupation began in August, all of us here in DC have had a front row seat to this slow creep of authoritarianism in our nation's capital. It's the ICE goons smashing windows and dragging people away without charge or trial. It's also FBI agents conducting warrantless searches in our city streets. Men in IRS vests handcuffing old women at bus stops for missing a $2 fare. And of course, National Guard surveilling teenagers in Union Station. And through Donald Trump and Stephen Miller's so-called Safe and Beautiful Task Force, this regime has embedded its federal agents, including HSI, which is ICE, alongside DC's Metropolitan Police Department. In less than a year, this task force has already killed 4 black men in DC and shot at 2 others. Thousands of families, disproportionately black, brown, and immigrant families, have been impacted by this task force's spree of arrests, with or without warrants. This is not normal. This is not safe. But it's not all uniform. In that courtroom today and across DC, we are fighting back, and we're doing it. Last week, the DC Council voted unanimously that they would require NPD to document when federal agents are present and using force around them. Measures like this not only offer opportunities for public access after the fact, but they provide a deterrent. Transparency brings accountability. Now, as I speak, DC residents are calling on our council member, Brooke Pinto, to call a hearing, make these changes permanent, and prevent our NPD, our officers, from cooperating in these warrantless immigration arrests. At the end of the day, our council can only control DC police. It is up to the courts and the judges in the court right now to do their job and ensure federal agents get in line. So, let's keep winning. How are we doing that? We're organizing. We're building community. We're taking up space, and even in the midst of all of this regime's atrocities, we are finding ways to find joy. They want us to think that this is all inevitable. They want us to think that there's nothing we can do but watch powerlessly behind our phone screens as they consume democracy from the inside out. And we're all here today because we know that's bull. When we fight, we win. That's what we're doing in DC. That's what we're doing in that courtroom. That's what we're going to keep doing until all of us are free. Thank you very much. Let's hold these agents accountable. Free DC.
Free DC!
What do we want? Ice out! What do we want?
Ice out!
What do we want?
Ice out!
What do we want?
Ice out!
What do we want? Now! What do we want?
Now!
What do we want?
Now!
Thank you so much, Jordan, for sharing those words. Thank you for reminding us about all of the work, all of the tools that we are using to free DC, to protect the city's residents here in this city. And we thank you for your partnership. Please help me welcome another partner from Popular Democracy who is here with us today. Popular Democracy's Fight Back Director, Isaías Guerrero. Isaías, adelante, please.
¡Ganamos!
¡Sí se puede!
¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede! Bueno, compas, es una alegría para mí estar con ustedes, a sentir el poder de nuestra gente, el poder de la comunidad inmigrante unida y organizada. Porque cuando organizamos,
¡Ganamos!
así es, compas, y así es la única manera en que nosotros vamos a poder salvarnos de esta situación en la que los ataques vienen todos los días de muchos lugares. Pero ustedes saben que cuando la noche está más oscura es porque la luz va a llegar. Y nosotros y nosotras, en nuestro poder comunitario, en la manera en que estamos abriendo las puertas para otras personas, para que sean parte de este movimiento, ahí es donde vamos a hacer que esta luz salga y nos continúe llevando hacia el camino de la libertad. Bueno, my name is Isaías and I'm the director of Fight Back for Popular Democracy. We're a coalition of 48 community-based organizations across the country, including Casa and Spaces in Action, and many amazing organizations that are organizing to make sure that democracy is not taken away, and that we as people that love democracy, working class, immigrants, and black people have a better life and a life of dignity. Today we gather in the shadows of the Constitution to remember a promise that was written into law after one of the darkest chapters of American history. After slavery, after the Civil War, this country ratified the 14th Amendment, a bold declaration that every person deserves equal protection under the law, and that no one can be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. The amendment was not written for the powerful, it was written for the vulnerable. It was written for people like us. whose humanity had been denied. And yet today, that promise is being tested again right here in the nation's capital. Over the last year, families in Washington, D.C. have seen immigration agents stop people on the streets, outside of workplaces, churches. We've heard it. Our loved ones are dying because of ICE. Sanctuary policies have been stripped away because of the Bowser administration actually being at the side of the Trump administration and ending the policies that have made this city a sanctuary. We fought for those policies, and this administration is actively making it easier for DC residents to be deported, and that ain't right. But we're gonna continue fighting and organizing. Now, the deeper question is not just about legal technicalities. The deeper question is about who the Constitution is meant to protect. The 14th Amendment tells us something profound, that the rule of law must apply equally to everybody, not just citizens, but all of those that live in this country. Now, when the government claims the power to detain people without judicial oversight, when communities live in fear of being stopped simply for how they look, the language they speak, or the neighborhood they live in, we are not just debating immigration policy. We're debating the meaning of of democracy itself. The architects of the 14th Amendment understood this. They knew that rights only matter if they apply to those who are most marginalized. They knew that equal protection is meaningless if some people can be seized without the same legal safeguards as everyone else. And that is why today we are defending the idea that America must be governed by law and not by fear, that due process is not optional, and that every person, immigrant, citizen, newcomer, neighbor, deserves to be protected on the Constitution. Justice must not depend on your immigration status. Freedom must not depend on your zip code, and the Constitution must belong to all of us. So we, the people of the DMV, are still being detained, going on our lives. But we are here today in the steps of the court to remind this court about the basic principles of democracy and the basic principles of due process. And we will continue fighting against this deportation machine so that not only DC is freed from ICE agents persecuting immigrant brothers and sisters, but all across the nation, we go back to the righteous path of justice. Si se puede, si se puede, la migra afuera. La migra pa' afuera. ICE out. ICE out. ICE out. ICE out. ICE out. Muchas gracias, compañeros, compañeras.
Yes. Jamás será vencido.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. All right. What a wonderful way to end this portion of our program with those words from Isaiah. Remember, due process is not a suggestion. Due process is not a suggestion and is not optional. The Constitution of the United States is not a suggestion and it's not optional. It is a requirement and it must be followed regardless of immigrant rights or regardless of immigrant status, right? We all have those same rights. So with that, I want to share that the court hearing is still continuing. La audiencia todavía no ha terminado, ¿no? Pensamos que a lo mejor como 12:30, más o menos, ¿no? Así que nosotros vamos a quedarnos aquí. We will wait here, we will stay here because we absolutely want to make sure we hear from our partners inside the courtroom to let us know what happened and what to expect. Because we know that the fight does not end today. No matter what happens in that courtroom, la lucha sigue. The fight continues. So we will stay here. We will be in space and community with each other. And then when our attorneys come out, we will hear what happened in that courtroom. Thank you so much to everyone. Please continue to hang out with us this morning.